All right, team, welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. Today, I'm really excited to dive into some cutting-edge stuff. I've been poring over the latest research on digital trends, and honestly, it's fascinating. I've even leveraged some advanced AI, yeah, you heard that right, to break down the core insights. This way, we can get straight to the actionable strategy. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. We've analyzed the latest data on the key strategies for success in the AI era to help you sharpen your strategic thinking.
So let's just jump right in with a question that, honestly, is pretty urgent. It's a question that really frames everything we're about to talk about. What if the clock is ticking right now on the single most valuable thing you can build for your future? Let's figure out what that asset is, and more importantly, why the window to build it is closing, and closing fast.
Okay, so our first big idea comes from serial entrepreneur Daniel Priestley. He spotted something on the horizon, a critical closing window of opportunity that he believes is about to fundamentally change the game for everyone.
That's it. 2 years. According to Priestley, this is the realistic time frame you have left to really establish a personal brand. After that, it's going to be exponentially more difficult, maybe even close to impossible for someone new to break through all the noise.
You know, this is such a perfect way to picture what's coming. The fog he's talking about, that's the massive, and I mean massive, wave of AI-generated content that's about to saturate every single platform. Now, if your personal brand is already established, if you're, like he says, up in the air, you can just keep on flying, using AI to go even higher. But if you're trying to build from scratch, stuck on the ground, well, that fog is going to be way too thick to ever take off.
And the advantage here is just staggering. A strong personal brand has 20 times, that's 20, the cut-through of a typical corporate brand. In a world that's only getting louder and more crowded, that's not just a small edge, that is literally the entire game. Okay, so if that window is closing, what's the tool? What gives us the speed and the leverage we need to take off before that fog rolls in? Well, the consensus among all these top thinkers points overwhelmingly to one thing: artificial intelligence.
And this perspective from LinkedIn's co-founder, Reid Hoffman, is absolutely crucial. See, AI isn't the fog itself. It's the engine that can power you above it. The trick is to see it not as this scary threat that's going to replace you, but as an unbelievable amplifier for your own unique creativity and productivity.
So the main takeaway from Hoffman's data is this: sitting on the sidelines is a losing strategy. The real advantage doesn't go to the person who waits for some perfect AI tool to come out in 3 years. No, it goes to the person who starts learning, playing, and experimenting with the tools we have right now. That early start, it creates an edge that just compounds and grows over time.
But, having the best tool in the world isn't enough. You also need the right engine to power you forward. And when you really look at the top founders, the ones who built these massive companies from nothing, they all point to one core trait: just pure relentlessness. Think about this. Amjad Masad spent the whole decade building his company Replit into a multi-billion-dollar platform. And his number one strategy? Grit. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But in a world with a million distractions, the simple commitment to just not quit, to show up every single day, that becomes a huge competitive advantage.
And this just perfectly illustrates the kind of pushback you're going to face. So, Amjad pitches his vision to a legendary investor, Peter Thiel, who basically dismisses it as a bunch of hype. Wow, it would have been so easy to just get discouraged and give up right there, but Amjad kept going, and guess what? Just a few months later, he was proven completely right.
So how do you turn relentlessness into something you actually do every day? Well, Arvind Srinivas, the founder of that explosive AI search engine Perplexity, he gives us a mathematical formula for it. It's all about small, consistent efforts that lead to an absolutely exponential result.
Here at TNT Digital Mindset, we see this as maybe the most critical algorithm for personal and professional growth. It's not about making these huge one-time leaps. It's about the quiet, compounding power of just showing up and making a little bit of progress every day.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? Let's say you commit to improving by just 1%, a tiny amount every single day for a year. What do you think the result is? It's not 365%. The real answer is just mind-blowing.
You become nearly 38 times better. That's a 3,700% improvement. This isn't just steady straight-line growth.
This is the incredible game-changing power of compounding that turns tiny daily acts of grit into massive, undeniable results.
Okay, that's the big picture mindset. But how do we make this real? How does this translate into what you actually do on a Tuesday morning? Well, the next step is a super practical, repeatable strategy for execution that really anyone can start today. Daniel Priestley is back with this fantastic idea of open and shut 90-day projects. Forget all the pressure of trying to start a business that has to last for 10 years. Instead, just launch something small with a clear end date. The goal isn't to build an empire on the first try. It's to complete a full cycle, learn a ton from it, and build that precious momentum.
And get this, a key part of this whole ground game is changing how you think about failure. Data from Miro, the big collaboration platform, suggests that a truly innovative portfolio should actually have about a 30% failure rate on its riskiest bets. I mean, think about it. If everything you try succeeds, you're just not pushing the boundaries nearly enough.
Now, when you put all this together, a personal brand, AI as an amplifier, and relentless execution, you create this incredibly powerful flywheel for success. But our analysis at TNT Digital Mindset shows there's one last absolutely crucial piece that protects it all from just spinning out of control.
This quote, wow, it's just so raw and devastating. It's from the wife of Oscar Haugland, the founder of Epidemic Sound. He was achieving incredible success with his business, but it came at a cost that nearly broke his family and himself. This just shines a spotlight on the ultimate price of ambition when it's left completely unchecked.
And this slide shows his solution. It's not about working less. It's about working smarter within strict, non-negotiable boundaries, or guardrails. He built a system that protected his family time just as fiercely as he protected his company. And what he found was that protecting his personal life actually fueled his long-term professional success.
So the crucial point here is that none of these strategies really work by themselves. You need the whole system. You need the urgency of that 2-year brand window, the leverage of AI, the engine of that 1% daily improvement, the execution plan of 90-day projects, and of course the protection of those human guardrails.
And that really brings us to the final and most important question. This isn't just some interesting theory. It's a playbook. So looking at this checklist, which one of these strategies are you going to put into action first? If you want to master the digital economy, make sure to subscribe to TNT Digital Mindset. Thanks for listening.